So in this concept, I want to explain how to divide two parallel lines into equal spaces. So I'm going to change the instructions because I don't want you to see exactly how to do it and have to repeat that task. So I'm going to say let's divide this line into 9 equal spaces. This exercise is set up best for metric. So if we use a metric rule, I can take my rule, and if I had to measure that, it's about 7.5 centimeters. That would be hard to do the math. But if I take the rule and I angle it until I get to an even number that I can divide, in this case, I want 9 equal spaces, so I go to 9. Now I can tick off at every centimeter. I'll make my crow's foot, and I've divided that line into equal sections. And then I need to do it again because we need parallel lines. So again, I'll come to 9, make my crow's foot, and be accurate. And the idea is that the closer you are to perpendicular to those lines, the better. So if you're on a real steep angle, it's less accurate. So I usually say try to stay less than 45 degrees. All right, so I'll make these marks. Again, we need at least 2 marks to create a parallel line. 3 is even better because then we know if we're slightly off. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to do 2. Now I need a straight edge, and I connect these lines. 1, 2, 3. So now that I have all of those lines divided, I'm going to turn my paper, and here we're going to divide into, and again, I'm going to change this just for the sake of, I don't want to give you the answer for the exercise. So we'll go 7 spaces. Now, as I said earlier, this is set up to do in metric, and it's a little harder. I'd have to go at a bigger angle to do 7 spaces in metric. So I'm going to switch to the US customary, and so we can say 7 inches. That works pretty good. So again, I'm going to have to do either 2 lines, or I can actually square off the line. So let me show you this trick. So we'll go 7 inches. So I'll mark that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's our 7th. So I wasn't able, because of the size of this, I could either extend these lines and do the same division, or I can actually square with my square off of this baseline. And so make sure I'm good and square. And draw my line. Now each time I got to make sure I'm good and square, which is kind of a pain. So I'll show you another trick here. If I set up the second square, first of all, I got to get parallel. So this line is parallel, so that works. So I set up a second square. Now I can slide that along so I don't have to every time check the baseline. So there's a line, a line. So that's a quick trick to help make it easier to do the layout. Again, for those of you doing the exercise, you have 8 equal spaces and 9 equal spaces. And again, this is set up to work in metric, so use a metric rule, it'll make your life easier.